Yeah. Okay, so Henry Cavill has a GQ interview and he talks about um Zack Snyder's Superman arc. He talks also about Man of Steel, and basically he is pitching for a Man of Steel 2 movie, solo movie. And yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I was very keen on really fleshing out Superman's early stages of his journey first. We had Man of Steel, and then we went quite a bit darker with Batman v Superman. And if he were to succumb to the anti-life equation and become bad Superman, I really wanted to make sure that we saw the hero, Superman, and we saw the true symbol of hope, the beacon of light, before we went down the path of darkness and then redemption. And still something that I am very keen to flesh out. Man of Steel. The wonderful thing about Man of Steel and what Snyder and Nolan and I wanted to do with Superman was create a Superman who was accessible in the sense that what would we do if we lived in a world where we had to keep every single aspect of ourselves hidden and we couldn't really truly interact with people, and how would that affect us? It's especially when you have that scene with Kevin Costner who's saying, look, don't reveal yourself. The world is not ready for you yet, and it'll only be a bad thing. Clark does follow that advice at first, but then realizes that's not the way to go, and that he must do what he must do regardless of that advice. And that was the beautiful bit, is that even though he has restrained himself and lived this life of loneliness, essentially, he's still willing to step out of the shadows and become the hero, despite the fact that it's going to have a negative impact on his life. And that, I think, is the aspect of that symbol of hope. He's representing everything that is good about mankind, despite the fact that mankind may not be good to him.
Don't do this! Stop!
At the end of Man of Steel, it was set up so wonderfully to begin that journey, because he had had his first outing against the last surviving member of his species, and had to kill him, and that is going to inform a lot of who he becomes. The terrible destruction of Metropolis, where he's fighting someone who has the same powers of him, but actually has training, he barely makes it out of that thing alive. And so what lessons has he learned? He definitely isn't going to kill anymore. And he's definitely going to make sure that population centers are completely removed from the equation, because now he's experienced it and now he's thinking about it. And so we get those steps towards building that incredible, wise version of Superman, rather than the still wet behind the ears kind. The Witcher.
All right, so yeah, he basically it seemed like he was basically pitching a movie to Warner Brothers, because the way he was praising what he like praising Man of Steel, and understanding what his arc was going to be, praising Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, and explaining to people what some of the scenes in Man of Steel meant, because even to this day some people don't understand them. And he was fully supportive of that, and I loved seeing that. But he rarely talks about Man of Steel or BVS or even Justice League, right? He rarely talks about all that stuff. But this was one moment where he talked in depth about Man of Steel and those controversial scenes or whatever. I don't know why they're controversial, but they are. Um, and also, the thing to note is he, for the first time ever, I think, after that whole Justice League debacle, he mentioned Darkseid's arc. Like he mentioned that Superman was going to succumb to the anti-life, and that's in the Snyder cut. So I think, look, we've been saying for a while now that, we think that Zack Snyder's Justice League releasing changed a lot of things in the DCEU, and a lot of people finally understood what he was doing, and and they liked what he was doing, and they kind of wanted to connect their movies to that because it's such a rich world and it's already set up. Why do you want to create new stuff and be standalone? So why not just have that as your starting point, and you can build off of that. That's what Zach's arc always was, right? And even Cavill is now pitching this Man of Steel 2 since like 2018, and it's still not made. I don't know why. I just think that they should go make it. Like, why not? It's like the time between Man of Steel and BVS is like 18 months, and they can easily make a movie in that. Like, a movie can just happen for like 2 or 3 days as well. Like, in the movie time span, I'm saying. So 18 months is like 2 or 3 movies if you want. So, yeah, I don't think that, people are saying that having a movie between Man of Steel and BVS could ruin the continuity. I don't think that. I think that, if you don't want to ruin the continuity, if you want to keep it intact, you can still make a movie and do that. And you can still show that Superman that was before BVS happened. Like he was out in the world, helping people, saving cats from the trees or whatever, being that symbol of hope. Because to be honest, we haven't seen much of that. So it would be really awesome to see that, and people would love it. I think people are complaining about Zack Superman only because of that reason. They just want to see that one scene of Superman saving some children or saving some cat out of the trees or whatever, because people are superficial. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, I'm being facetious here, but yeah, I think that a movie like that could actually help bring a lot of people back to this Superman. I think a lot of people would be happy about that. So why not? It's no harm, right? So yeah, there's a time gap. Go ahead and make it. But what did you think of his comments, and why do you think it enraged some people?
Yeah, well, James M in the comments just has a few interesting points. So he wants to do a Man of Steel sequel that takes place after Justice League. Not really, in a way. Well, it depends what kind of story. I don't really mind continuity that
He has
much in
been
terms of
saying since
DCU
2018
or
that
the
he
X Men
wants the
universe.
movie to be
Yeah,
set right after Man of Steel. He's
yeah,
always mentioned
Man of
that.
Steel 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't really mind too much if they don't really talk about Batman v Superman. You just have like the sequel to Man of Steel in terms of continuity. I'm not one of those guys. You don't really have to like Logan. You can pick and choose what movies you reference in the movie. But, I just want a good movie. To be honest with you, I don't want to. I don't want to piss off people in terms of like continuity of Batman v Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League and the arc that was being told there. But like, just make a really good Superman movie first, and then we can worry about the other stuff or implement them if you want to. That's just how I feel about it. But James also said Warner Bros. Hates Henry Cavill, especially since he didn't do the Shazam cameo, which hurt that movie box office. Yeah, well, I like whose fault is it there right now? You have Henry Cavill who's playing Superman, and he wanted a bigger contract. He's playing Superman, and they wouldn't pay it. And then Henry Cavill's in every right to deny the contract that they offer him. He's an actor. He's that's his life. That's what he does for a living. But I'll tell you what, it would have been a lot cheaper in 2018 to pay Henry Cavill
Exactly.
than it is right now to pay Henry Cavill because Mission Impossible, the Snyder Cut did pretty well. The Witcher, Sherlock Holmes, that franchise,
Yeah.
he just wrapped filming that today. His star power has gone up insanely since 2018, 2017, since Justice League came out. And Warner Brothers wouldn't pay him what he wanted then. Well, get ready now if you want you want to use him now, you're going to pay a ridiculous amount of money. But also, if Warner Brothers didn't want to use him, didn't want to pay him, they went, oh, we don't want you. We'll get Michael B. Jordan as our Superman on HBO Max or whatever they're going to do. The one variable that Warner Brothers can't say no to is The Rock and Danny Garcia, which is The Rock's agent and Henry Cavill's agent.
Mm-hmm.
If The Rock turns around to Warner Brothers and says, yeah, well, we want to do a post-credit scene with Henry Cavill's Superman, and Warner Brothers is like, we don't have a contract with him right now. Yeah, we'll get out and get a contract with him right now. Look, my agent is his agent. Do something right now. Or I want Black Adam 2 is going to be Superman v Black Adam. Make it happen, Warner Brothers, because The Rock is huge in terms of box office, Netflix, streaming, anything. So to piss him off is not a good idea. And the DCU that he's building with the Justice Society of America and what he wants to do with Superman, he's calling out the Justice League. That's very interesting. That can be big box office for Warner Brothers. So if he wants Henry Cavill Superman, he's going to get Henry Cavill Superman. And that's where I think he will appear first. I think Black Adam will have either a huge reference to Superman or Henry Cavill maybe even show up as a cameo. But I definitely think that's the direction.
Well, the
big
Flash
time.
movie's coming out before that.
Well, no, Black Adam then the Flash.
So, yeah.
Well, I think he could definitely pop up in the Flash as well, but I think we get a strong reference to him in Black Adam. Then we have Shazam coming as well.
That's the.
Cavill is saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for mispronouncing your name. Cavill. Warner Brothers have a beef with Cavill because he wanted a contract for movies and cameos, not just cameo.
Yes.
Yeah. That's 100% true as well. There was a big beef between the two of them, but like that's what I just think. I think the common denominator is The Rock. I think he's the one who's just causing so much influence there right now because he wants Superman. And every time he has an interview with Black Adam, he's talking about Superman, his weakness, his magic, this kind of bullshit, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Calling out Superman. He wants that big showdown, big time, and Warner Bros. Will have to bow down to The Rock and give him that because you don't want to piss off the biggest movie star in the world. And like what was big as well? Henry Cavill in that interview we talked about a few weeks ago, he talked about Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Talked about Marvel. And those things are strategic. He might not necessarily want to play that character, but he drops it because it's Marvel. The Rock a few years ago, when Black Adam was still kind of, is this film going to end up shooting? What's going on with Black Adam? The Rock dropped that he had a meeting with Kevin Feige. Then what do you know? Black Adam is rolling into production. They're getting ready to shoot. Because Marvel is the big scary baddie for Warner Brothers and all these big companies because they don't want to lose their talent. So when Henry Cavill's dropping Marvel and Captain Britain, those things are strategic. Those things come from his agent. Those things are planned because Warner Brothers is like, shit, he's a big star right now. We want him. We have to get him because Marvel will come in and get him. And Marvel will come in and get him. I guarantee you, if he's not used in the next year and a half, he'll be in the MCU big time. And then Jason says, don't piss off The Rock. Yeah, I'm more excited for The Rock's DCEU than Walter Hamada's DCU. I just think he's a yes man, and for the Rock big time. But then James goes, "Well, why announce another Superman project with another actor?" Well, why things we just talked about earlier in the show? Things change. Robin Pattinson's the Batman now. Michael Keaton's the Batman. Ben Affleck's the Batman. Michael B. Jordan's HBO Max series. I think he'll be the Superman in that. But that's happening with Balsad.
Yeah.
The J.J. Abrams one's happening as well. Henry Cavill can still be Superman. Jared Leto's Joker was in the Snyder Cut. He was in Suicide Squad. He was referenced in Birds of Prey. Joaquin Phoenix. Rumors of a number 2 happening there. I don't know if it will or not.
J.K. Simmons even said that it's a multiverse. Like there can be 9 different Batmans running around, and it's okay.
And I told you guys what I heard about a Joker in Matt Reeves' movie as well. So like it doesn't really matter at this stage. But I can understand where everyone's coming from big time. But yeah, but Henry Cavill's comments, it's like, Henry, pitch us your Man of Steel 2, and he just did it. So it's exciting, it's interesting, and it's not like he just disregards Man of Steel or Batman v Superman or Justice League. He actually talks about these things, which is interesting in its own right, and the anti-life equation and submitting to that, and eventually we will get there.
Yes.
So it sounds like to me that he wants like Man of Steel. I want a Man of Steel 2. Just get. I want to. You know what? A Man of Steel 2 where Superman is realizing like not to kill and stuff like that. That would elevate Batman v Superman if done right.
Exactly.
Big time. Because there's scenes where he could just kill Batman in an instant if he wanted to, or he could kill Lex Luthor, but he decides not to. And I would like to see when he came to that realization not to do it, which would be Man of Steel 2, whatever journey it is. And then like Man of Steel 1, Man of Steel 2, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then you could do another Man of Steel movie, or you could do the Justice League movie, and then I don't know what the Flash movie sets up or Black Adam sets up, but yeah, there's definitely ways to do it, and he I think he will play the character again. He's very passionate about it, and these are all very interesting line of interviews, him talking about the character. Because if you remember when The Witcher came out season one, which was like 2 years ago down at this stage, he was asked Superman questions, but he never really talked about he never talked about it in this detail or this passionately. He just talked about, oh, the cape's still in the closet. I would
Yeah.
love to go and do it again. I don't know if there's a Snyder cut now. Things change. His perspective has changed, and he's more open to it and more kind of. He realizes how big of a star he is right now.
Let me okay, so before I tell you what I was gonna say, I just think that it's ironic and really funny that Warner Brothers, what you said, that Warner Brothers just dropped the ball on signing him back then, and they are eventually signing him now anyway, and that's even more expensive than it was before. So yeah, they should have got their priorities straight. He's a DCEU Superman. He's the face of the DCEU. There's no way you deny the contract. There's no way. Your entire universe will just fall to the ground if you don't sign Superman. But anyway, what I was gonna say is, let me put this. Let me pitch this to you. What if this interview? Obviously, this interview is done on purpose. He's pitching all that. But what if, like we think, he's already signed for cameos, right? That there was that report back in February of 2020 that Henry Cavill has no plans for a new movie, but he is going to appear as cameos in other DC movies. That was the official report at that time, and a lot of people just ignored that. But now, as the DCU kept progressing, Justice League came out, the Flash movie and all those plans, Batgirl and all those plans. I think the DCU is going to be definitely more connected going forward, and I've been saying that all year. And now let me say this: what if Cavill has cameos in Black Adam and the Flash and Shazam 2, right? And what if he already knows that, and he knows that people will probably like that he is in those, and because of that, the interest in a Superman solo movie will rise again, right? So maybe because of that, he is, in anticipation of that, he's already getting ahead of it and pitching the movie and what the movie would be about now, so that Warner Brothers can get in plans with him and make that damn movie. Because I think that movie is definitely going to be made one day. I think so for sure. Henry Cavill's Man of Steel solo movie is definitely going to be made.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely laying the foundation, but I think what will make it happen is if Black Adam's a hit and
Yes.
his Superman and that is awesome, or it's really like, if Flash is a hit, if Shazam 2 is a hit, if those variables of movies are hits and do pretty well, then I think it's better in his favor for a Man of Steel 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he's just laying the foundation right now. But the movies have to do the talking for themselves. They have to do well.
Yeah.
And then there's no excuse. Really, really, really isn't, because the last one that had Superman, Justice League, didn't do that well in 2017. And the Snyder Cut came out this year. I think it opened so many doors, big time. And Henry Cavill, say what you want, but he was promoting that on his Instagram, the Snyder Cut, a few times. Yep. A few other actors didn't. Even when the movie came out, didn't even talk about it. And Henry Cavill did. So say what you want about him. I think he's a big advocate of Snyder's Superman, but he isn't stupid either. He knows that version was very divisive, when it came out in 2016.
Yeah.
And that kind of darker Superman. But he's not against that idea. He just wants to go on more of a journey before he gets to the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
Which is, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. That's just his opinion. That's what he thinks would cater best to the character.
And that's what WB
I
wants more of.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can eventually do that, because it would add a lot more to Superman if he went through these journeys a little bit more in depth and then got to the anti-life equation. And Zack Snyder was doing it beautifully as well, but it's not the only way to do these things when Zack is not there.
Yeah.
If Zack is not going to be there, he's going to be on Netflix, then there's definitely a different way to get towards that.
And
So
there's a big
I don't
gap,
know.
like I said, between Man of Steel and BVS, where you can easily fit a movie.
Yeah, there's Batman was isolated, training for Superman, learning about Superman,
Yes.
doing his own thing, and a lot could have happened. And it's just the God v Superman fight is what made Batman have this vengeance towards Superman.
hmm
Like there could have been some other big story going on there. It doesn't even have to be on Earth.
Look, the
The story doesn't even have to be on
Man of
Earth.
Steel ended with Clark joining Daily Planet, right? You can just pick right up from there. You can start with, Daily Planet scenes. You can have scenes of people rebuilding after that, dark Black Zero event, because that was a huge event in that universe, right? And it's very devastating probably for a lot of people. So you can show how people are building up, how he was being helpful, how he was being the symbol of hope for those people. You can show all that before BVS, and it's perfectly okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, it might be some small continuity errors in terms of the media never covered it in their reports. But as we know, media is very biased in agendas and narratives. If Superman, Beast, Zod caused so much destruction and so many deaths, then the narrative would be to paint Superman as a bad guy in Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
And they would ignore the good things that Superman did,
yeah,
which could have been in Man of Steel too. So there's ways to get around it and things
exactly,
progress the story forward.
exactly.